And when we get insufficient sleep, it presents in different ways. In children, it often presents with increased irritability.
A decrease in problem solving, a decrease in decision-making skills, a decrease in control.
Contributes to fatigue. And when we're fatigued, we're not focused. And so if we're not focused, it can look a lot like a kid who is distracted in the classroom.
We know that children with sleep disorders are actually the bottom quartile of their class as far as their ability to learn.
There's a lot of research on lack of sleep and symptoms of depression and anxiety. We know that.
So that's just a little video, a little snippet of the whole video that we have on sleep. And really what we talked about with sleep is looking at how much sleep you're getting and then also the quality of sleep that you're getting. One of the docs in things said something about if you're one abnormal thing is if your kid snores, that's not normal. So that's something that you need to get checked and get evaluated. It could be allergies, it could be, a cold, something like that, or it could be something else. And so that is something that it's now stuck in my brain because he said it. And so that's something I never would have realized. And so when you're looking at sleep, what does that look like for the kiddos? What does that look like for us? What does our bedtime routine look like? Can we put the screens away in an amount of time so that our brains have that time to calm down and turn it off? Because those blue lights really do impact our brains. So, okay, we'll go on to the next one. Very nicely.
It's hard to find an area of health that physical activity doesn't affect. In general, people are less physically active than they used to be, and that has so many downstream health consequences. It's probably the biggest risk factor for long-term health is not having any physical activity.
As we get into adolescent years, research says they need an hour of exercise 5 to 6 days a week. For kids who are athletes, that's practice, and that's easy. But not every kid is an athlete.
I'm especially troubled because what I see is shorter life expectancies for kids in this young generation today. And I think, how can that happen? How can that happen in our world? And then if you look at the research about physical activity,
People who exercise regularly are most likely to be depressed or anxious. And people who are depressed and anxious, physical activity as a treatment can be just as effective as medication sometimes. And so not only does it prevent mental health issue, actually can even treat mental health issue.
Anybody have any thoughts on that? So many thoughts. Yeah. What are we thinking? What came up for you during the video?
Motivation. Those are hard to get people going.
Yeah.
Get kids going.
Right, get me going. I know, right? And it's cold at the time, I don't know, yes. Yeah.
I think just how hard, the significant difference we'll see with both of our parents if they don't get time out, big body movement, working the body. And the shift from preschool where they can run and play all the time to
Instead of just asking, pay attention.
I think if we embed play from start to finish of life, it's like most of this probably would take care of itself.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. Finding the things in your life that you can add to. We have more meetings. It's still anyway. So it's raining. So we just walk around, we make sure that we, with a gentle face, just walk around and then we can have a meeting there and talk through things. That does actually help with your brain, helps your creativity. You're outside, get some sunlight, it's great, some fresh air. And then also with physical activity, we have things like standing desks. It's really that easy of maybe I just need to sit up now. Maybe I need to walk around. I have coworkers that will be nah. You've been sitting too long. Last time I walked by here, you were sitting there. You came back outside, you're still sitting here. Let's go. We're gonna do some steps and let's go outside and stand up, that kind of thing. So building that in and even into play. what hobbies are you doing? Are they active? Can you take your dog for a walk? Can you just go outside and rake the leaves, pick up trees, cleaning, is physical activity, things like that. And so there's a lot of things that we can just build into the things that we're already doing. And that can really just bump up. It can just be small. You can do a 5-minute workout on YouTube and find a video, do a 5-minute workout at your desk. Like you don't even have to stand up, they show you how to stretch and all those things. So if you just need that little minute of like, I need to just move my body in some way. So yeah. That leads in really well to the next one, which is nutrition and hydration.
Those days when you haven't eaten and you start feeling a headache come on, or you start feeling shaky, or just everything about your day feels a little growly. Your body's telling you how important food is to you.
Lack of healthy diet, fluids, hydration definitely can lead to sluggishness. It can lead to an inability to focus, tend to things, which ultimately leads to stress and anxiety. In order to thrive, we have to fuel. And so I think what we're talking about is just really evaluating what good fuel looks like.
When we talk about nutrition, if we don't have protein and carbohydrates and fats and hydration to make our health, those are all important pieces to be able to replenish everything we burned out for the day, to have good mental health, be able to exercise, do all the different pieces of what we need to be able to do. Those really are important pieces that come from eating a variety of foods and having a really good nutrient style.
I don't know about y'all, but around my office, having conversations around food is huge. It's a big deal right now. And telling, and they say it in the video, some food is better than no food. So whatever we can get and whatever our next best is, when we have a choice, what's the best choice that we can make in that point? Because you really want to have fuel for your body. That's what you need. And that's what the nutrition and the hydration does for you, so that you can fuel yourself throughout your day. And it does actually impact your brain. And also your mood. Talk a little bit about it in the video as well, like being angry. I do that. I forget sometimes I'd be busy doing stuff, and then I'm like, oops, it's 3 o'clock, I didn't eat lunch. Whoops. And now I don't care what it is. I don't care what it is that I'm eating. I do not care. Put food in front of me, I can eat it. And there's ways that we can plan for things like that. They talk a little bit too about when you pick your kids up from school, they're thirsty, they need a snack. Their brains have been working hard. Their bodies have been working hard. And so they need a snack. And if you can get them water and hydration right away when they get in the car and a little snack, you will see much better results when it comes to dinner time than if they get home and they just like ravage the pantry. They need a snack at the end of the day. And so that's something that if you're looking to pick up your kids after school, that you can do and build that into your everyday life. And just healthy snacks that you can just kind of grab. I like grabbing cup snacks. It's always a good thing. And if you have healthy things that are there for them to eat, that's what they're going to grab because it's easy to grab. So.
Like we have hydration up there too now, it's not just nutrition.
Yes. Yes. And actually that came from folks within our health department that were like, yes, nutrition, that's great. And we can talk about nutrition, but also folks need to drink water. And they talk a little bit about it in the video too. And like, yes, coffee, tea, those things, not energy drinks, not, all of the extra additional like juices and things like that. Sometimes it's literally as easy as just drink some water. Or I used to call this my head protocol, but it was literally go down the list of things. So did I sleep well last night? Drank anything today? Did I eat anything today? Have it, or am I just like this and we're going to either? And the like technique here. So it's the same for this, and that just happened to be headaches. It was the headache protocol for me to go through it. 9 times out of 10, I didn't drink water. or had too much coffee and I didn't drink any water. So that was like, okay, you go get some water, walk around a little bit, let's see how it goes from there. Maybe I need to clean that, maybe we need heddles, things like that, and see how it goes from there instead of going immediately to the medication. So that's pretty funny. Leads into the next.
Single biggest predictor of having a long, healthy life is social connectedness. Do I have family, do I have friends, do I get out with them socially? While we may have a large quantity of connections and contacts and conversations we can be a part of online, what young people often say they want is just want somebody who they can talk to who understands them, who they can be themselves with, who they can be open with. Someone who's going to show up for them in a crisis.
It is critical for our children, our young adults, to have a rich variety of relationships.
That gives you more people to reach out to say, hey, I'm struggling. What would you do in this situation? What can I do? Because you never know which group you're going to feel more comfortable going to open up to.
So when we talk a little bit about this one, we talk about suicide prevention a lot related to this because there are studies that show the more relational connectedness that you have, the more people that you can reach out to when you feel like you're struggling, the more resources that you have, the less likely you to hurt yourself. And so that's a really big piece. In addition to that, I don't know if you all have heard of Nore, but he talks about, I'm big on substance use prevention, and for addiction, sobriety is not necessarily the outcome that you're looking for. What you want to get to that, the antidote to addiction is connection. People need to be connected to other people, they need to feel supported, they need to not live in isolation in order to have that real one-on-one, in-person connection. They talk a lot in the video, especially with parents, around technology and our kids' use of technology and what that looks like. There are connections that can be had through technology, gaming. There's people that maybe live in communities where there's not a lot of people that are their age, and so that's their connection to find cool things that they like to do and play. But at the same time, they also need to have in-person connections. They need to have that face-to-face. They talk even a little bit about the studies showing that this next generation coming up doesn't have the empathy that previous generations have had because you're missing the nonverbals in a communication. So if I say something on a computer screen, I don't see your reaction to that. You can send me an emoji, but is that, how many times do you say LOL on LOL? Right? I never LOL.
They need a sarcasm emoji because.
I have a side eye one that I get maybe a lot.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
That one.
You can download more even somehow. Like increase your vocabulary.
For sure, yeah. And so those things, it's that interpersonal connection. And one of the therapists talks about talking with youth and just role playing. They thought they had social anxiety, and they're coming in saying like, I have social anxiety, like I can't do this out in the world with people. And the reality is they just need practice, and they need somebody to teach them how to do it. And like, how do you, let's role play, let's have a conversation. What does that look like? Let's start with, it's Monday, how was your weekend? That's a good question to start with. Kind of go from there. We don't have to go off onto branches and get into, have a tangential conversation, but we can just have a nice cordial conversation and move on with your day. And it just takes practice for some of those things. Not saying that social anxiety isn't real, but it is one of those things. Mastery is my
There
favorite.
was this boy, he had, as they would say, behavior problems, right? He really wanted to learn how to use backhand springs. We did have some gymnasts that worked with us, so they were like, kind of showing it, whatever. And over the period of about 3 weeks, every day was like, Erica, come film me so I can see my form, right? And so he would set my phone up, and he would just go and go and go. He started developing this sense of self-regulation and self-assurance and determination because he was frustrated that he couldn't get the skill. He was very motivated to keep trying. Sure enough, he gets my phone, sets it up, starts doing it a few times, looks way better than it did a few weeks ago.
And just all of a sudden, boom, he like nails it. And I start crying, he starts crying. It was like this beautiful moment of mastery, where from there on out, he had this just like swag in his step. It was so, like, where did that come from? Of just like confidence. He was a better listener, right? Like some of these behavior problems that he oftentimes had for that period of time were just like, it was like gone. It's just the most beautiful moment I think I have in like all of my working with kids, is seeing him gain a sense of confidence and like, I mastered this thing, and there was this other adult in my life that cared enough to sit with me through my process of failure and success.
It's my favorite pillar. And that's my favorite story that I heard. I've watched it a zillion times. But I love that. Have you ever had an experience like that with a youth or with yourself, where you would have done something, you practice and practice and practice, and finally just nail it? Huge thing. And sometimes we forget. Little brains, everything is new to them. Learning how to read is huge. Learning your letters is huge. Learning math is huge. All of that stuff, the first time that you do it and you got it, is so amazing for your brain. It just lights up. And sometimes we forget that that's not just like, oh yeah, they're doing that because they're in first grade. And so then, and then we just look at it as, oh, they're behind because they're not doing this, and they're not doing this, and they're not doing this. Everything is huge to them. The world is new. They're doing everything for the first time. And so we really have to take a minute to stop and congratulate them and celebrate them for the journey of doing that. Not the outcome necessarily, but the journey of getting there.
There's another strength that we mentioned earlier. There's a science of hope out of the University of Kansas, and it is the ability to envision meaningful goals and pathways to said goals, taking action, accomplishment, iteration, revisiting the values that make up the sense of meaning, back to more goals, pathways, action. It's basically another way of saying mastery. It's this practical hope and mastery are kind of like, it feels like one and the same. And yeah, so that's just something that as I was watching the mastery one, I was like, oh, practical hope. I don't know if that's something that might be another conversation to unpack it in that way. Like there's a rich literature being used like at everywhere from like the Child Advocacy Center for the Healing of Trauma all the way to like boardrooms. One of the business professors wrapped it in a thing, and it's in boardrooms around the business world now. So it's that one is awesome, and it connects to this like psychological needs model self-determination theory. Is that something that has crossed the radar? Yeah, it's like if our psychological needs aren't met, we experience psychological distress. This one hits on both, like with autonomy and competence, I think is the way they describe that one. And then the other one, the social connectedness, that's the other need, is the relatedness. And so it's like in here, it directly addresses like the physical needs and then the psychological needs. It's like, I think this is as like foundational as anything you can get. And it's like the things that matter most.
Yeah,
so
this is your purpose. This is what if you don't have something that you feel like you have mastery over in your life, you're kind of aimless. You don't feel like you belong, or you don't feel like you fit anywhere. Because what we find in mastery is doing tasks and doing things maybe related to your strengths that you can find community in.
Yes.
That there's other people that also know that can talk to you about those things. And even as parents talking to youth, get into it with them. Go to the library with them. I get into a little bit of mastery about you don't have to buy everything. You don't have to buy all the stuff. Like a kid shows interest, and you don't have to be like, all right, they wanted to play t-ball, so we're going to line them up with, we're going to do t-ball and pee-wee, and then we're going to get on the elite team, and then hopefully they'll get into minor leagues, and then hopefully then, they'll get all the, you don't have to go there. You don't have to put all that pressure on these kids. They don't have to have it all figured out. And just because they picked an activity to do, and they wanted to try, my big thing, they say a lot of don't quit a thing, or don't quit without having a replacement for it, which, yeah, please try something else. If this is not working for you, please try something else. But I'm a big fan of let them try something, and it doesn't have to be their identity from then on. Let them try something. If they like it for a while, great. If they want to switch and do something else, great, let's do that. You don't have to invest everything that you have in that one activity that they're doing. Because it's expensive. Kids' activities are expensive. But play is free. We go to the park. We have all kinds of events and activities and things that kids can do with their parents, their siblings, with their cousins, with other kids in the neighborhood. And go to the library, and try them out. There's a lot of places here too that will do like, don't buy that kid archery equipment. Please don't. Come to this center, we have them, we can teach them how to do it, we'll help them, we'll teach them all the safety parts of it, and then from there, if they like it, and then you can start talking about what you're gonna buy and what you're gonna use. So there's a lot of ways to do that, and just the encouragement of the journey to getting there, not the outcome, is a big thing. Anyone else have anything come up with next week for them? Yeah.
Well, I think as far as mastery goes, there needs to be space made, like you were saying about encouraging kids not to quit or things like that as well. But sometimes the act of quitting something is a boundary that the kid needs to express.
Yes.
And making space for that to happen. Like my favorite illustrations that we had a rope swing on our country playground that swung off a very tall stone structure that was about, I want to say 6 or 8 feet tall or so, maybe a little bit less. But the kids would stand on top of it and then swing off of it on this big rope swing. And there were kids that would climb up there, and their parents would do it, you can do it, you know. So-and-so just did it, it's not a problem. But as a play worker, I would sit and say, okay, no, I don't need to push them. You guys don't need to push them. We need to let them decide, I'm not ready for this yet. Or, because that act of knowing that you wanted to move on is also mastering some social emotional aspects of your life, which I think definitely needs some mastery for everybody. So I really appreciate that.
And knowing yourself where your limits are, you know, that what you're feeling is okay. Like, hey, I'm scared, I don't want to do this. And then the next time that I get there, maybe I will push through it and do it, and that's okay.
Yeah, and there were lots of kids that started out being like, no, I'm gonna sit down here and swing, actually. And whenever we would get to that point, they would be doing like swinging upside down or like all these things that made me on the inside be like, ooh, but they can do it very easily. Ready to master that.
Yeah. I think that too, like just being able to just like, here's a bunch of stuff. Like here's a bunch of craft supplies. Do whatever you want. It's so cool for kids to have that just like freedom to create and the space and the time to just do those things. And parents and people, I think it's really important to make that time in your life where you don't schedule yourself, where you don't have to do anything, and to be able to just take that time to innovate, brainstorm, let whatever thoughts are happening happen. That's why we have like really good ideas when you're taking a shower, or you know what I mean? That's why that happens, because you're not like right ahead, you know? That's when you can think outside the box and be creative about things. And
That's so valid, because when I set aside time intentionally to be like, this is my time to create or come up or plan, and then, you know, then you just sit there and think about anything but, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting. So maybe next time, like my niece is wanting to work on a project or me, we'll just like sidetrack with something and then it'll help us refocus.
Yeah. Or that's okay to get sidetracked. Like, you know, I had this idea that I thought it would be really great if I dumped all these crayons out for the kids to play with, and they're like, we have a video game over there, we don't play that. Or it's nice outside, we'd rather go out there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, switch gears, let's go do that. And so we can kind of go with them on some of those things. It doesn't have to be a structured, like, we have to do this all the time. It's more about giving them space and listening to them. I am. Good. Going downstairs. So this is the last one, quieting.
I think that a lot of people who are stressed and anxious have a lot of tabs open in their brain. You have a tab on the test that's tomorrow, a tab on what their friends said to them. What mindfulness does is it helps people to close those tabs effectively, because what we're not doing is we're not thinking about those things and obsessing about those things. We're thinking about the here and now. We're thinking about our sensory environments. We're thinking about the positive relationships we might have. And I think that if parents are helping their children as different kinds of quiet resources like mindfulness and spirituality, I see a lot of benefit from that.
Who's super good at quieting? This is super hard, especially in the world that we live in, and the lights and shiny things and all the stuff. Technology, you can look anything up at any time. So it's really important to take those minutes to just sit, to just be. And it doesn't have to be meditation. It doesn't have to be journaling. It doesn't have to be yoga. Those are the things that can come up often. It can certainly be those things, and that's helpful for folks. For me, I have to move. So it's going for a walk. That's just has to happen. Or I have to be doing something else, so I crochet as well. So I'll put on some music, usually like no words, instrumental type stuff, and then crochet, and that's my time to just like, everything's off. We're just doing the thing repeatedly, over and over. So what are some of the things that you will do to quiet?
Make it my New Year's resolution for 2025. So I've got a few more days left. Last year was sleep.
Okay.
I'm still
working on that.
Once I'm going to get that one and the mindfulness down as habits before this one's over and I move on to the.
I feel like they're always constantly a thing, and they change. Like what works for me in this moment for quieting doesn't work for me in that moment for quieting. And for kids, it's a good thing to just give them a minute. There's hours and days, and they don't have to be scheduled from the moment they get up until the moment they go to bed. They need some time. Whether it's after school in the car, pick your, whatever radio station you want to listen to, we're just gonna sit and try to wait for a minute before we go in. Have your snack, have your drink. Let's just sit for a minute and see how that goes. And just kind of build in those little moments where there's time to just shut it down. And they feel a lot more comfortable talking to you. And get super comfy with being uncomfy and awkward silences, especially with teens. You're just like, look at you. Are you just gonna stare at me? Yeah. Want to talk about something?
Yeah. I adopted my teenage niece last year, and we have a thing right now where she wants me home, like present, but not by her, near her, or interacting with her.
Mm-hmm.
But you just have to be somewhere in the house. It's a very interesting time together. And I kind of like it because then, I don't know, it's something I think it's new for me because my daughter wasn't like that, but I don't know, she just likes to, when she does need, then she can pop out in there and she can retreat or whatever. So we've kind of been working on that actively, and it's been hard for me because I like to be interacting with someone when I'm around them, right? Or engaged in something. It's very hard for me to just be sitting around, but it's kind of interesting when you're saying just give people time or, be space with teens and things. I think maybe that there is something to that. I wish it was all written down, and that's what I'm supposed to be doing.
I know, right? I didn't get a manual either.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out how myself.
Well, I compare it to me, like being in the 90s and being a teenager, not having the internet, not having cell phones, and just telling my parents, like, peace out, maybe I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right? It's very different.
Those are your kids that, or your parents that have to yell at your door. Kids,
Yes.
you know, dinner, come home, street
Yes.
lights are on, that kind of thing, and you just be wandering up.
Right. Or my dad finally caving and getting into line because the phone cord went all the way from the kitchen down the hallway, into my room, the door shut, and then no one could ever reach my parents. So.
When I came along, it's like, get off the computer, I need to get on the phone. And I think it's great for kids to be bored. I always say, I'm never bored. Because, and people are like, oh, if I retire, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And I'm like, can I retire for you? Because I got all kinds of ideas. I got things that I want to do, I want to try, let's do all the things. And I think that's great for kids to have as well, just be bored. What does that look like, being bored? That's where creativity happens, that's where play happens, that's where imagination and make-believe happens. It's cool. It's fun. It's so necessary. Yes. So applying the pillars, we're all busy. Just hello, right? Kids are busy, families are busy, parents are busy, grandparents are busy. Everybody's busy. You got all this stuff going on. But these are things, these 6 pillars are things that you can just stop and evaluate to see, you know, things are maybe not going the way that I want them to. Things are, in my life, are not really fitting with my strengths. They're not really filling me up. So what do I need to do? So let's start off with, okay, well, I know that my sleep has been terrible lately, and I take a nap every day after work, and I haven't been getting outside because it's too cold. So let's try to switch that up first. So let's make sure that I'm getting back on my bedtime routine, that I know, you know, I got one on, TikTok's been calling me, but I gotta turn it off. And then I gotta be in bed by a certain time. And tomorrow I'm gonna take a walk in the morning before, you know, work, because I just need to get that out. Kind of start from there. It doesn't have to be these huge things. Please don't go into your kitchen and get rid of all of your food. And then try to just like fill it up with fruits and vegetables that your kids may or may not want to eat, or you don't know how to cook them. And prepare them in a way that they like. Have them cook with you. Go online. Let's find a recipe that you think you might like. Let's try it. Kind of do those things and do them in an incremental way. It doesn't have to be an all-at-once like overhaul of everything. So that's just something to keep in mind. And also, this is brand new. 6 pillars for the health department and for, really, this is a community project. We have so many partners in this, and we want so many more. We want people in the community to say, this is how I apply the pillars, this is how I apply the pillars, and come over here, because this is what we're doing with this pillar. And we have a mastery event with the Wellness Center, and they're awesome. And they had that, and then we had a quieting event, and that was with the Indian Center, and they did something different. And we want to continue to have those things and build on what these pillars mean to people, so that it really integrates into your life. Dun-dun-dun-dun. That's the website. These are on all of the videos and QR code if you want those. And yeah, questions. I don't know if I'll have all the dates for your cues, but I will try.
I think that the strengths idea and psychological strengths and mastery, it's like mastery of strengths, kindness to self, expressed out, kindness to others.
And I always think of strengths too as a way of, it's kind of how you look at the world. And so I would be completely unbearable if I could sing something like that. I would drive everyone nuts. But I'm a set builder. That's what I do. You need something organized, and you need pamphlets made, you need flyers, you need promotion. I can do that. You put me up there to sing all this time, so I can do that. I would love to be able to do that. That's not one of the things.
Yeah.
So I lean to those. And I find that like, that's how I do quieting. it's fun to sit down and organize and write things out in a list. And like you said, there's no brain, it's time for me to just sit and be quiet. Make a list of all the things that I like, make a list of all the things I'm great at. That's my game. For other people, they'd be like, boring. So I think everyone can use their strengths in order to find their way of doing this.
Is there like a mastermind or a core set of masterminds that created this thing?
Well, I mean, really, it came together out of all of the data and information that we got from the community and just kind of consolidating that down. So, yeah, we have partners at the hospital, we have partners at the health department, we have cultural centers, they are all involved in this. And the next thing is we're translating all of these videos into with voiceovers, paid voice actors, in some languages. So that's a nice big project that we're working on. Because this is for everyone that we do, this is what we heard from everyone. And that's what we can do. We can report, we can make sure that things are accessible to people. But in terms of like a mastermind, yeah, this community is the mastermind. The voices that we have in this community that have, they're the masterminds.
The collective mastermind. Sweet. Thank you so much. Yeah. All right. Well,
Good?
yeah, perfect. Yeah. So relational connectedness, I believe there is this mentoring dynamic that is rather awesome. And I think it's one of the mentioning earlier that there's a finding that mentoring for the mentors, for some, it's the thing that brings their community builder strengths online. And so without that opportunity to mentor, there may be many potential community builders that we never know because they didn't mentor. So now that there's opportunities for mentoring, Big Brothers Big Sisters is one of those opportunities here in the community. And we have Cal Bishop and Amber Nore, Lincoln Big Brothers Big Sisters, Heartland Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Midlands.
That's the Midlands.
But we're in the Lincoln office, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
And
Yes.
while you,
And I think, do you have their presentation or the email that has theirs a link? I sent you a link, I think, for theirs maybe.
Today?
No, the other day, test it out. I think just look for an email from me. I think I forwarded it.
Did you send it as an email?
Yeah, it's an email. Yeah. I'll find it. Oh, you got it? Good. Cool. Yay.
Yeah.
Are we, and it's kind of saying, here, do we sit up here, take it to that, you just would have to operate it or whatever?
No, I'll stand up here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to read it.
Oh, Kyle can.
There you go.
He shows me how to do everything. I'm just very patient.
There's a video in this, but I heard there's a video in the last one,
It
so,
worked.
yeah, it seems, so I'm sure we'll be fine going there.
Great.
Great. All right, everyone. First of all, thanks for having us out here today to talk about our program. Like Nick said, my name is Kyle Bishop, and I'm the marketing and recruitment coordinator at Big Brothers Big Sisters. And this is my colleague,
Amber Nore, I'm the Director of Community Engagement, Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Yep. And we're just here to chat with you about our program and how folks can get involved, but also, we'll be touching a bit on like the impact of mentorship and other ways that you can support our programs. But just to begin, our mission statement at Big Brothers Big Sisters is to create and support one-to-one mentoring relationships that ignite the power and promise of young people. And the way that we do that is through community-based mentoring. So there's a lot of different models of mentoring that are available in our community, but through community-based mentoring, what we do is we take youth between the ages of 7 and 14, and those are our littles, and we pair them one-to-one with adult volunteers in our community, and those folks can be anywhere from age 19 up to 109, I suppose, but really what it's all about is exploring the community together. And a lot of the time they're meeting up after school or on the weekend to do activities out in our community. And these types of things could be like something like going for a walk in the park, or cooking a recipe with one another, or like doing an art project with each other. Really, a lot of it just depends on the match themselves and what they're into. And to tell you a little bit about our history at Big Brothers Big Sisters, it's actually one of the oldest and largest youth mentoring programs. Oh, right on, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so the whole program itself, BBBS started in 1904 in New York City, and around that same time, there was another group called Big Sisters International that was also started. Around the time of the 1970s, these two groups came together and became Big Brothers Big Sisters of America. And it was around that same time that our story here in Lincoln got started with the program called Y Pals, which was started through the YMCA and our local sheriff's department. It wasn't until the 90s that Y Pals joined up with Big Brothers Big Sisters of America, and we were Heartland Big Brothers Big Sisters at that time. And of course, joining up with the network definitely gave the organization more resources to thrive long-term in the work and the impact that we're doing with families here in Lincoln. But our most recent update would be that last year, our office combined with the Omaha office of Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Midlands. So our services have expanded from Lancaster to Seward County, and we have, in general, just more resources now. We're able to provide more opportunities for matches in our program because of the combination. And just having a larger team definitely helps for long-term growth and sustainability of our program. To tell you a little bit about the bigs in our program, our mentors, they come from all walks of life. From college students to empty nesters, mentoring is an opportunity available to a wide variety of adults looking to make an impact for young people. And of course, on the right-hand side there are the demographics of kids that are currently enrolled at Big Brothers Big Sisters here in Lincoln. And then of course, our littles. Our mentees are the stars of the show at Big Brothers Big Sisters. We welcome all youth, regardless of background, to explore the community while discovering their potential. And while you're looking at these demographics, one thing that you'll probably notice is that we have a little bit of everything. But one of our main goals, especially with regard to our mentors, is to have a wide, diverse pool, because one of BBBS's biggest strengths is intentional matching. So what we'll do is we interview both of our littles and bigs when they first enroll in the program to get an understanding of what they're looking for. And with young people, it can be things like they prefer to have a grandparent figure. So they want an older mentor in their life, or they want someone that's more of their cultural background. And so that's why you'll see people like me and Amber hopping around to as many different areas here in Lincoln as possible, because we really want to strengthen the diversity of our pool of volunteers to serve our youth as effectively as possible. And just having that varied pool is essential for a successful experience. But you know what, Amber, could you tell me a bit about Max Support?
An aspect of our program that I really appreciate from mentoring is that we people will often think, how can I be a mentor? Do I have what it takes to be a mentor? I don't know how to work with teens or youth or what have you. We pair all of our mentors with a match support specialist. So that way you have access to someone who will do all of the things listed here on the slide for you and like be there for you. And if there's ever an issue or you need ideas or support, you can call them. So this is really a value to being a mentor, that you have someone alongside you. And the match support specialist works not just with the mentor, but also with the mentee and their family. So it's really a holistic support throughout the entire relationship. And I think knowing that we have that can help people feel confident about giving mentorship a try, because they're not having to be out there on their own. And we'll find you free tickets to the Lead Center for ideas, or talk to you about developmental stages, you know, or what to do if your kiddo's having a rough time when you're out in public or what have you, so there's someone there for you. And our match support specialist in Lincoln, Melissa, has been with the agency for 26 years, and Nore is a former executive director for Big Brothers Big Sisters in Hastings, and then has been here in Lincoln for 8 years. So when I say you get matched with someone who's going to assist you, like it's cream of the crop. Like they're really bigs.
Oh, no.
The bigs or something.
They've been described as big bigs.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're like the big to our bigs, sort of. So we have that alongside you, which is really nice.
And one other thing that I really like about it is our program, the programming staff does a really good job at making connections in the community to provide like varied opportunities and activities for young people. A couple of things that they do, I know, well, there's always at least once a month they do an activity at Urban Legends Art Studio, and I think they did acrylic pours not too long ago, and then they just did it was something Christmas tree. I can't remember what it was. It was a holiday themed painting.
It has to be, you have to say holiday.
Well, that's what it was. It was a very assortment.
Yes, holiday.
Yeah. And then every once a month, they'll always do like an activity at the Bay, which is another awesome youth program.
Skateboarding.
Littles in our program will skateboard, and they've just introduced like a sewing program. So now there's like sewing activities that they'll do. But yeah, it really is pretty varied, like between sports tickets or like concert tickets and what have you.
Yeah.
But
Prehistoric cut, we have passes, all the museums. Mana games, but that's not every time. A lot of times when we get together, it's just chatting, going to the park, playing basketball. It's not a full-on activity every time, so, yeah.
Well, again, a lot of the things that you do are dependent on like your own interests.
Right.
So like if you're more of a homebody, then we'll try to match you with a youth that, shares that same perspective, but same with the reverse. If you want to be outdoorsy, then we've probably got a youth on our wait list that loves to do stuff like that.
If I had to mentor someone that really loves sports, they would be in trouble. I know nothing. So you get a little you when you get paired with a kiddo, and I think that's pretty cool. And so how do you refer a little? As you can see, it's usually a parent or guardian. Anyone can refer a little, but the parent, guardian, and the little all have to be willing to have and support the match. And as Kyle mentioned already, interviews occur not just with mentors, but also with the mentees and their guardian. And then we do very intentional matching, so you get that little you. If someone wants to be a business person someday, then they have a business person. Or if they're really into cars or reading, we have kids that want mentors that are the same color that they are, or can identify with certain things about their background or behaviors. So that's why it's not, okay, Kyle, thanks for your application to be a mentor. Who's next on the list? Off you go. It's very intentional, and everybody kind of get to shop like swipe left, swipe right on who you want to be, right? I mean, that's not, and it's very personal. I shouldn't say swiping.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's not how.
That's not part of the program. I'm trying to illustrate that it's individual, like you get to choose. And I will focus on that now and never say swipe again.
But another cool thing about it is like, while it is fun and there's definitely like there's intentional activities that happen to, promote growth for young people. There's also like the question of like, what is like, is there, it's fun, but then is there also like another impact that comes with this? And every year we conduct youth outcome surveys with young people in our program. These look at important areas of youth development, including like academics, mental health, or like avoidance of risky behaviors. And what you're seeing on the screen are our top 5 charts that we were able to get from our most recent. So yeah, this year's youth outcome surveys.
For Lincoln.
And these are all important areas because like they all tie back into resilience, which I'll get into here in a second. But like, feeling like you have an important adult in your life, or improving or maintaining educational expectations, and then of course like that avoidance of risky behaviors. They all play into like the science of resilience. And there's been like studies done through, I believe this was like the Institute at Harvard, where they were looking at different areas of like resilience and common factors of children who display resilience. And the most common factor was having at least one stable relationship with a supportive adult. And that's really where our mentors come into play, because it's like regular, positive, brain stimulating engagements with young people. And obviously there are other factors, like they say up here, like a self-efficacy, perceived control, sources of faith, hope, and cultural traditions. But having a mentor or having that stable relationship with a supportive adult helps to bolster those other factors and helps to promote a higher overall sense of resilience for young people. But yeah, these are all like just different examples of what we talked about, so I'm not going to stay on this for very long, but just different examples of activities that you can do in community-based mentoring. I'll also talk about like our discount partners. So while we do those like 1 to 2 larger activities a month, like at the Bay or Urban Legends, we have continuous partnerships with different businesses here in Lincoln that provide discounts or outright free admission to our matches when they're doing things like, I know, like the Museum of American Speak, for example, it's free admission for a Littles and Bigs, but like places like Manny Games Board Cafe, they also offer a discount for us as well. Really, we just want to make it as easy as possible for mentors in our program to, have fun while creating an impact with a young person. Amber, did you talk about that?
Yes, and you can tell me if I say anything wrong again. I'm silly goose. I know you're all sitting around asking yourself right now, can I be a big? And the answer is probably, right? That's what Kyle always says, probably. So as long as you meet these requirements, because our bigs take littles and go out and about in the community, we do require some extra levels of safety for insurance purposes and things as you can imagine. So motor vehicle, criminal background, etc. What I'd like to point out is that we only ask for 4 hours a month. And so it's not, it's really, could be an hour a week. You could do 2-hour activities a month. The time commitment is minimal. The impact is huge. And then I did want to point out the last bullet point that we have a big couple option. If you are married or a long-term couple, the 2 of you can mentor a kiddo together. With the wait list of our little guys being the longest, we will typically pair a big couple with one of our little brothers. And that is really great because sometimes people do things together or take the kiddo out one-on-one, but from a time commitment, it can really be valuable to do that together as a couple. So just another option. And if you meet those criteria, then you qualify to become a big. I also wanted to say Kyle did a great job with these slides because every photo that you're looking at is a real big little pair right here in Lincoln out and about exploring community. So you may recognize some of the backgrounds and things, but these are real relationships being fostered right here in Lincoln through our program.
Absolutely. Yeah, do you want to talk about
Sure.
some ways? Yeah.
And perhaps mentoring is not for you at this time, or perhaps you want to mentor and do more to impact youth in our community. Here's a fabulous list of ways to do that. The top portion involves some type of monetary or time commitment. You can give $10, $15 a month, $1,000 a month, whatever you'd like. You call it a matchmaker, or you could even make a one-time gift. End of year, like right now, is a fabulous time to do that. And there's a link there, or you can contact me. I have my cards with me. You can sponsor our events. Either you or perhaps a business you know of would like to be a sponsor. Every spring, of course, Lincoln is so fortunate to be a part of Give to Lincoln Day. We have that incredible giving day that actually starts, it's Giving Month. It's all month long. And then in the spring, we have a bowl of fun called Bowl for Kids' Sake. That's the signature event for big brothers and sisters all across the country. And we invite you to form a team, dress up, come enjoy pizza, beer, and pop on us while you go out and raise money. I will, y'all will be in the first to know that our theme this coming year is going to be prom night. So you can wear your most decadent outfits and bowl with us. And then in the late summer, early fall, we have a Bigger Together luncheon. Right now, if you go to any Russ's or Super Saver till the end of the year, you can participate in the Giving Tree, which is a gift card collection that we have trees, and you can pull a card off and bring gift cards that benefit either things our matches can do together, like
It's like movie theater.
round one, movie theater passes,
Okay,
ice
yeah.
cream. You can do gift cards for the families we serve, like right now, grocery cards, gas cards are really helpful. Or you can do gift cards that support our program, things like Walmart, Staples, what have you. We do, I now said Walmart, we really do encourage, especially with match activities, locally owned business. So like we have tags that really support like Monocone and a Novel Idea and Healthy and Down books and things like that to give back in our community. The bottom half are all free things that you can do that support Big Brothers Big Sisters, like joining our newsletter. You can follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. We not only have Big Brothers Big Sisters LinkedIn, but we also have Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Midlands, so you can connect to one or both. Kyle does a fantastic job sharing all the things that are going on. While you're connected to us on social media, you can also then reshare posts about the different things we're doing. Those are all free. You can ask your service club, church, employer, organization to have Kyle or I come and chat about our program. And then we have social events throughout the year that are no cost. We just threw X's a couple months ago. It was super fun. Come to our socials. So yeah, just some really fun ways to participate, either financially or of time, talent, or treasure, I guess,
Yeah.
ways that you can contribute in addition to being a mentor.
Okay, yeah.
Oh,
All right,
great
so
to
I was like, I thought this was later for some reason, but I was worried the video wasn't in the presentation.
Oh, like we
No,
missed it?
Or that I sent a different version of the presentation. But anyway, the next slide is just a video interview that we did with one of our matches, Connor and Jen. And this was actually, we recorded this for an event, but we really like it. So it's just a great demonstration of the impact of mentoring and kind of just like a view into them.
Yeah.
So, what we did last Wednesday, we were at the pool, right?
I think so.
I think we said, I owe you some ice cream because you made it across the entire platform road there.
A large dairy queen business.
My name is Connor Robinson. I'm 13. I go to Urban Middle School, and I've been hanging out with Joe for 13 years. 4 years. I've enjoyed it quite a lot. It's been really fun. It's been a good experience for me.
Since 2018, it's easy to remember because I think we matched up right before the next week I left for Alaska for a family vacation. So it's always easy whenever I see pictures come up on my phone for that.
I don't really remember, but I think it was my mom signed me up. I did the interview. I just met Joe. That's all I really remember.
Do you know yet what kind of classes you're in next year?
I think I have, for the first period, I remember the day I have either science or not science, health or PE.
Yeah.
For second.
What got me involved with Big Brothers Big Sisters was that I had been a little when I was growing up, and it had just a big impact on me, and it was great even having pictures with him, seeing him as late as when I graduated college, he showed up, and so we had been in contact through at least that point. One memory always sticks out to me too is I think we were trying to, back when Blockbuster was a thing, we went and rented a movie, and we thought it was a comedy, and it was called Arachnophobia. And if you know what arachnophobia is, or just the word, it was not a comedy for someone of my age, so but it always stands out as a fun memory looking back on. And then I wanted to do some volunteer work, and I was trying to think what would have a larger impact, just kind of doing something at events or whatever, or doing something where I would meet with someone routinely and potentially have a larger impact on their life.
I think my favorites have so far been kayaking, hiking, and disc golf, which is one of the ones I really want. It's kind of like golf, you throw a disc into kind of, there's like parts to this kind of stick out of your arm. You throw it in the head. It's been fun. Usually hang out once a week, but lately, I'm pretty busy, so I don't hang out once a week. But I'm usually once a week.
A lot of lighthearted banter, but then the occasional thing where then we talk a little more serious or get more in-depth conversations. And when you get done with have something like that, it always feels rewarding afterwards too, like you're making an impact.
It's been really good for me having a big brother in my life. I've become a lot more healthy, really started doing active stuff more than I probably would if I didn't.
I get a lot of fulfillment out of being able to impact someone and knowing how it impacted my life when I was little. So I enjoy seeing the growth, both figuratively and literally. We were just looking at pictures last Wednesday about when we matched up, and he's maybe about coming up to my waist, and now he's going to be passing me within a year or two, I'm sure.
So yeah, Connor and Jeff are awesome. I've chatted with them in a number of different activities. You can really tell that the time that they spent together has had, a genuinely positive impact, especially for just Connor to be able to have someone like Jeff to, be a regular contact for him and to be able to do the things that he's interested in. I mean, it's all about igniting potential. So, but yeah, thank you all for having us here today. And if you are interested in learning more or becoming a mentor, there's a website link or a QR code on the flyer that I handed out today. If you're really dead set on getting started, I do have a little sign up sheet for the first step. It's really quick and easy to do. But otherwise, thanks for having us here. Amber, is there anything else you'd like to say?
Are there any questions that we
Yes.
answer?
We must have done a good job.
Kyle, you did such a good job. I will say, prior to coming to work with Big Brothers Big Sisters, we know the positive impact it has on the life of youth. And you can see the statistics, and it's kind of a no-brainer. What I didn't consider before starting was how much our mentors are impacted and how much they look forward and their lives are enriched by their connection with their little. And so I just like to bring that up because it's something that we don't stop to necessarily consider, but I've really seen the impact that it's not just I'm mentoring, it's like a two-way relationship that makes a difference, and it's the future leaders of our community and country and world that we're connected with. And I think now more than ever, it's important that we do our best to help shape that in a positive way. So thank you for having us today, and
You know, to add on to that,
add on to that.
no, one of the biggest things that I get when I'm out in the community talking with folks about our program are just stories of previous involvement. The mentors, it's very common to talk about how they were. I've had some that were White House. I've had some that, mentored within the last 10 years, 5 years. But one thing that's pretty consistent is, assuming that their match was a couple of years or more, it's pretty common for them to stay in contact after after that child was grown out of the program. And I don't know, I think that's just it really speaks to the impact that it's not only having on mentees. Of course, I get lots of stories from former mentees as well, but it speaks to the impact that it's having on mentors too. And I've read, some studies that talk about mentoring and some of the positive impacts that it has. And one that I recently read that I thought was very interesting was it was a program in Australia. Granted, this is more for talking about guys because this was during our male recruitment campaign that we did, but it was a program where it was adult-based mentorship. So a little bit different than ours, but the model was men mentoring men. And it really helped to challenge perceptions of masculinity for them and helped to kind of reframe the importance of discussing your feelings and, actually engaging with your fellow man. And I think I think that's huge just in and of itself because you pass that on to young people and it can help to, at the worst, it can help to break toxic cycles that exist in certain families, but at best it just helps to bolster that child's perception of what's a healthy way to handle emotions and behaviors going forward.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I was supposed to take a photo of Kyle presenting, and I did not. So if we could take a moment, will you put the slide up and stand up? We're gonna stage, we're gonna go 10 each, and then you guys can all live.
Gaze.
Well,
Okay.
it's our first
I didn't know you
time.
were. Yeah, I was
Okay, here's everybody. This is so exciting. Karen, you look gorgeous. There we go. Thank you for letting me do that. Let me get one more.
The clouds behind you are working.
Blah, 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 blah.
Thank you so much. Sorry, I was so engaged in what you were saying, I forgot to photograph it. Yeah, perfect. And then maybe we put some extra flyers over here on your resource table. Karen, I don't know if you have a community table here or not, but we can leave some with you if you do. Okay, perfect. We'll leave some for Constellation.
All right. Much appreciated. Let's.
I still remember my wife held, she was, I guess maybe just 8. And then I showed up, kid had a white belt. And then she showed up, she took me to all of the kids in that living area that the apartment she lived in.
Oh, really?
And she wanted to pass this group of little girls and they go, "Oh, Dad, is this your mom house?"
That's so sweet.
There's a printmaking. If anyone, is the printmaking still an option for a little bit, or?
Sure, I'm leaving this out.
Yeah. So if you wanna make a thing, Karen will help you make a thing then.
Make a thing.
Some wood blocks and we did that.
Or if you want to eat cheese.
Yeah, geez, yeah. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you guys. Yeah, that was.